Great, thank you. So I'm going to turn it over to Buddy. He's got a ton to share with you in the time we have together today. So thank you again, Buddy, for being here. We appreciate you, and have at it, sir.
My pleasure. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello. I see Brandon's on here. Thank you for joining, Brandon. If I screw up, you'll let me know what I have to do to fix it, right?
Yeah, I'll check the recording too, buddy.
Oh, you're going to check it twice. Welcome, everybody. How many people are on the call right now?
We've got over 20.
How many?
Over 20.
Oh, okay. That's good. Welcome, over 20. My name is Buddy West. I probably know a lot of you, or if I don't, I'll meet a lot of you at conference, hopefully. But just a little background. I still sell real estate. I'm putting together a nice deal, knock on wood. It's going to be for several $1 million. I'm so happy. So when I get home, I get to close something, hopefully in the next month or so, for about 30 million. That's going to be nice. So I work like you do. I work. I get deals. I lose deals. I screw up deals all by myself. But when I got into the real estate industry, it was Halloween Day, 1984. Apparently I like the costume, but here's what happened. This doesn't make me a genius. It doesn't make me anything, but I decided I didn't want to be like the rest of the crowd. And I'm in the midst of putting this down in a book so that I can tell people that you don't have to just join a real estate company and you make money by buying or helping buyers and helping sellers. There's just such a large array of opportunities in real estate that you don't realize outside of the listing and sales. And when I got in, interest rates were 18%. So it was very difficult. And I was tired of hearing, my first year in real estate, I was tired of hearing, it's a buyer's market, it's a seller's market. I didn't want that. I wanted to say, I can't control the market. So what do I need to do? So 3 years into my business, I decided to create my own markets. That's where I went out. And they say that necessity is the root of like success, like that. If you want success, it's by necessity. My mother needed a place to live. She wouldn't live with the kids. Find me a place that I can go to. And me being super realtor and my brother being not quite super realtor, because I'm the oldest brother, we couldn't find anything because back then they weren't building over 55 communities, assisted living. And I knew that was an issue. So it was a void that I had to try to fill. And that's why I got into this niche marketing stuff. I wrote a book called Targeting the Over 55 Client with our chief economist and my wife. We turned it into the SRES class and it went national. Luckily, it wasn't our intent, but it did. But it fulfilled a need because we helped realtors around the country understand the needs of seniors. So by doing that, I pretty much locked down any listing I wanted to get in my area for over 55s. All agents were afraid to go up against me because I wrote a book and I started this course. After that, I did the same thing with the military because I said, nobody's helping the military. Let's see if we can help them. Traveled around the country for 5 months to bases, forts, camps, you name it. I was there, Washington, and we let the military write the course. Well, SRES, I sold to National Association of Realtors when my partner passed, and I didn't want to do it by myself. So what happens? NAR approaches me to buy MilRes, and I turned them down because they took SRES from 41,000 to about 14,000 now. And that's not a dig on NAR. NAR is not in the education business. NAR is in the private property rights business. So they hired a course writer and wrote this course called MRP. Well, they can have that all they want. My MilRes course gets people referrals because I advertise that NAR can't do referral-based stuff. So I'm ahead. So I moved on, and G. Dunstan, my co-author of this course, told me 3 years ago, you need to do probate. And I said, well, why in the heck would a realtor want to do probate? You know, that's a lawyer thing. He said, no. And he convinced me. So we took a little over 2 years, 2 years and 2 months to create this course. We talked to people in all 50 states and 4 territories to try to get the process and procedure down to how to do probate in their particular states. We determined that we had to do it from a general perspective and not a state perspective. So we cut it from 2 days down to 1 day because we determined that most realtors like you or I are not going to sit through a 2-day course. We'll sit through a 1-day course. And if somebody wants to really be serious, then they can take an advanced course. And we did it last year. We opened up in March. Now, unfortunately, my partner G had a lump taken out of his lung, was not cancerous, but the surgeon sliced his vocal cord. So he's not able to teach the class. That means I was saddled with all the classes. So fast forward, our goal was to get 500 people to take the Certified Probate Specialist class. In reality, at the end of the year, we ended up with 1,870. This year, so far, we have 3,000. And the REMAX organization, of which I'm not a REMAX agent, I'm an independent, they put it on their university. They'll probably get another 3,000, maybe 4,000 this year. Here's the situation. The situation is, up until this course came out, the realtors, less than 0.1% of all the realtors in the United States knew anything about probate. They didn't know how to work it. They didn't know how to get it. They didn't know how to have attorneys get you, refer people to you. They didn't understand the concept, just like I felt 2.5 years ago. But after learning it, and learn, this is crazy. These people need to learn it because in 2020, over 60% of all cases of probate in the United States went to auctioneers. Now think about that for a second. An auctioneer can charge 30, 40, 50% of an asset to sell it. Now, if there's any realtors on this line that charge 30, 40, or 50% to sell a house, let me know the secret, because it just doesn't happen. So the way you get people to work with you on probate is you learn it, but you also let them know that you can save them tens of thousands of dollars. That's the key to this whole thing. How do you save money for your prospective clients? So there's a how you can kind of get in it by learning it, but why would you get into probate? And if anybody wants to chat and let me know what you think. Why would a realtor want to get into probate? Doesn't make any sense, does it? That's what I need to know. Zoom, okay. I help people find what they need fast. How can I assist you today? That's pretty good. That's it. That's Zoe. But here's the other thing. Why would you choose probate? Probate's really, it's kind of tough, but it also is tough to understand. Let me give you a couple hints. Right now, there's $1.6 trillion worth of real estate in probate today. Do you know how crazy that is? 1.6 trillion. In about 3 years, it's going to grow to 3.5 trillion. That's just in probate. You know why? Because boomers are dying. Boomers are dying every 15.9 seconds. Boom, that's it. Boom. So if there are any boomers on the call right now, I'm sure there are, don't buy the green bananas. That's the way it is. So what you need to know is this: if they're dying, that's 5,500 a day. What is there? 10,500 seconds in a day. So every 15.9 seconds, somebody's dropping dead. There's your market. Now, in 7 to 8 years, according to Forbes, according to let me see what other magazines, New York Times, they all did articles on this. Between 70 and 90 trillion dollars, 70 and 90 trillion dollars are going to change hands from the boomers to the next generation. We are the wealthiest. Now, coming after us, they're going to be even more wealthy, but we won't be around for that. So you have to understand that. This $3.5 trillion, you know what it turns into for realtors? That's 50 million houses. Is that enough for you guys? I mean, Howard always said this: you got to work in abundance, not scarcity. And this certainly is abundance if you learn the process. So that's it. Most realtors don't understand how probate works. They don't have a clue. All right. Realtors don't know how to get business in probate. Does anybody on the call know how to get probate business? Anybody? Tell me how.
No. Maybe just recently a coach was teaching, you know, a 40-minute thing about probate. And he was touching on some of the things that you were talking about and talking about how you need to get to the probate attorneys.
Right.
A lot of it smelled to me like car sales.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. Smelled to me like. Since we started the probate course, I think there's been 6 or 7 that have popped up. You're always going to have those, but that's fine. I compete every day with everybody. We got our course. We were the first course, but then I licensed it to RRC, which is the CRS people, right? And so they're using it as well. And then for Star Power is my main thing. As I do classes around the country for RRC or for Women's Council Realty, I spend between 8 and 10 minutes talking about Star Power. And if you want to get the job done, you go to the people that do the job in the community. And that's the agents that are involved with Star Power Stars. So it's quite fascinating. That's the way it runs. So we've got it going. We've got a head start. We're about 3,600 strong now. We're only a year old, and that's not bad. And the other thing we're doing is we don't have this done yet because we hadn't even had time to do a website. We finally got that up. So you can do Certified Probate Specialist org, and you'll get information on that.
Hey, buddy, Moses had his hand up if you want to give him a minute.
Moses, what do you got? Because I can't see your hand.
Oh, so yeah, so I've had a couple that, and what is it that Warren Buffett says? If you know where the gold mine is, you don't share the map with anyone. But in the spirit of being collaborative, so I'm friends with a funeral director. So I've had a few that have come through that process, and I've learned a lot about the process, but I've only scratched the surface. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. Well, when you bring up funeral services, I know that we have one of the stars I sat on the panel with last year from Denver, Colorado. I took his idea, and we have a probate brochure in funeral homes. Now, that sounds like you're being a huckster or you're chasing ambulances, but it's not. It's a trifold, and what the trifold would say is basically before you start the probate process, please read this and learn how to save tens of thousands of dollars. So what that's doing is just giving you the probate process and everybody hear that noise? Okay, anyway, so when you do that, you're doing something a little bit different because you're not going as a realtor, you're going in as a service provider. I like to consider myself a credible source of information for the 3 niches that I'm involved with. So as long as I can be the credible source, I'm not trying to get your listing. I'm trying to make sure you don't lose tens of thousands of dollars. But in effect, it turns them back towards you because you're the expert, and most realtors don't even know that. They don't know the jargon. So you can get them on that. They don't know how to get lawyers to help them. Well, you can't get a lawyer to help you unless you help them. And that's the point. So if somebody says, yeah, you got to get lawyers. Well, I have 2 lawyers that are working exclusively for me. And a third, she's a great gal and a lawyer, but she's hard to break. It's like breaking a Bronco. I mean, it's tough. She thinks, well, as a realtor, what do you know? And I keep convincing her that, you only took 2 more tests than I did. And I have 2 lawyers working for me. So why don't we sit down and see how we can help each other? And we're starting to get close to that. But what can I offer her? That's the key. So I put a whole program together what we can offer. So now she's starting to be receptive, and I'll get her business because she has a fiduciary duty to make sure her client has the best working for them. Same with the guy lawyer that I'm one of the 2 guys that I'm working with. He said, but I have a best friend I play golf with. He's a realtor. And I said, that's fine. Does he know anything about probate? Is he certified in the business? Has he taken classes? And he said, well, no. And I said, well, then don't you have a fiduciary duty to your client to get them the best? And how about if I provide you with services that are going to allow you to get more probate business? This is why this class that I'm doing prior to Star Power starting is important, because I'll give you everything that goes on, how you can get lawyers to call you. That's hard. But once you get one, and I'll tell you where to find the lawyers, because every time I go into town, any city, I just got back from Salt Lake City a couple of days ago, and I'm heading, where am I heading? Pensacola, Montgomery, Alabama, and out to Michigan again. But I'll get there early enough that I can contact lawyers. And if you open up the phone book, if they have that anymore, or you look on the internet about probate attorneys and whatever it is, every attorney is going to say they're a probate attorney. Well, that's not the way you get them. And in the class, we're going to teach you how to get those things. Now, the other thing is that CPS offers solutions to understanding the process. If you don't understand the process, then you shouldn't work with people in probate. Article 11 of our Code of Ethics said, if you're not competent in the field that you're practicing, you are obligated, not just you should, you are obligated to refer that person to somebody that's competent in the field. The one thing we do in our certified probate specialist course, we make sure that you're in compliance with Article 11. So it doesn't make you an expert. What it makes you is it makes you competent enough to work with them. You're going to keep becoming an expert with the different classes or the different stuff that we send out to you. It shows the realtors how to get through the process confidently. Those that have done probate that are on here, did you feel very confident and competent with working the people? Anybody can answer. Hello?
Buddy, if I had felt competent, I would not be on this call.
Oh, okay. Oh, so what you're saying to me, thank you very much for your confidence in me to make you competent on one little Zoom call, but thank you. CPS would also, it allows you to stand out in a niche that very few people know about. And early adapters are the ones that really win. My former boss, when I first got into business, he told me, you know how to win a race, buddy? And I said, yeah, you cross the finish line. Before everybody else, he said, nah, that sometimes helps. But he said, how to win a race is to start off in front and keep improving your position. And I thought it's pretty stupid. I think going across the finish line, you win. He said, no. Because if you're out front and you're keeping on improving your position, there has to be a reason why you're improving it. Your stride's better. You're doing the right thing. You're making the right moves. In this class, you'll learn about probate, and we'll learn you're going to start off ahead of everyone. And then we'll show you how to improve your position as we go forward in our relationship. That's the way I wanted to do. It's prepared to help you, like the objectives.
The one to sign you up for it.
I'm sorry, say what? I heard something in the background. Anyway, the objectives of the course is to do this. It's real simple. I have 7 objectives that G and I came up with. Number 1 is to identify the process, including misconceptions, and understand those that are involved in the process. Number 2 is to navigate through the sale of the property owned in conservatorship, living trust, or in the probate process. That's number 2. Number 3 is determine the impact, revocable versus irrevocable trust, and what it has on the process. Number 4, communicate more effectively with individuals involved in the process. You'll have an understanding of how to communicate with them, how to talk like you know what you're doing, because behind every sentence you're going to have the backup to know what you're doing. Okay. Number 5 is really important. You're going to address potential objections and concerns buyers may have or personal representatives may have in the process. Number 6, this is in the afternoon, you'll effectively promote themselves as a specialist to begin to develop your niche. I show you that through a mind mapping range. And number 7, be in compliance with Article 11 of the NAR's code. That's the objectives of the course. Now we go back and forth trying to make probate. This was our biggest challenge. Trying to make it fun and exciting is a challenge. But I think we've gotten through that because we break you up in exercises and you learn. And the more you learn in probate, the more you earn. I've often told people, I say, is it okay to make a lot of money from clients in real estate? And people go, well, that's what we do. Or, I don't know, sometimes I feel bad. I said, no, it's okay to do well as long as you're doing good. And I think that's really the way I like to set my business up. I've been involved in Star Power since, I guess, 1993 or something. It was when I had hair. But the interesting part about this is every single year I learned more and I earned more because I learned from the best and I learned to put it into the best. Here's another thing we do. If you're looking at how we do the timeline and all this stuff of the course is set up into 5 lessons. 5 simple lessons. If anybody's ever watched a house come to fruition, if you watch it, I took a husband and wife out, and they were just pouring the foundation, and they made them wear boots. We all had boots on up to our knees or something, and we're down schlepping through the mud. You can hear your feet like this, and the husband's like, "This is great," and the wife is like, "This sucks. Get me out of here. Take my boots off. Come back when you're putting the kitchen in." That's the way that this particular couple viewed it. Now, I've been with the opposite. When the husband didn't want to get out and the wife said, "I want to play in the mud," the most important part about building a house is the foundation. And that's what I think. So we have to learn the foundation in probate. So when we first start, you're going to know what? It's an introduction. Lesson 1, introduction to probate. Somebody tell me what probate is that's on the call. That's when you guys respond.
It's when you take the assets of the decedent and you pay off all the bills, you distribute the asset, and if there is a will, you follow the directions of the will.
Okay. Any other additions, depletions, or whatever? That's pretty close.
Buddy, isn't it a legal process to prove that you have or own something?
Well, that's it. What probate is a legal process. And a legal process consists of validating the will. Once the will is validated, then the process is distribution. And before you distribute anything, distribution includes creditors, includes taxes, et cetera, and then whatever's left goes to the beneficiaries or whatever. That's pretty much it. It's a legal process. But the word probate, when I'm in class, if I say probate, I want an answer, a response from everybody in unison. Court. Everything you do through probate goes to the court. There are exceptions in different states that have administrative probates and whatnot for small estates, but by and large, if it's probate, it's court. One of the best ways to avoid probate is to have a trust. That's the way that works. Who's involved in the process of probate? You know,
Buddy, can you expand that definition of the legal process? You said to validate the will, but if there is no will,
well,
then
that's
it's probate.
Well, if there is no will, the will makes it a lot easier. Let's just say that right. So when you're doing wills, the will gets turned in, and everybody says, "Okay, well that's fine, that's fine." If there's no will, then it becomes a court administrative process. Okay, and in the court administrative process, what happens is very simple. Typically, I'm going to say like 90% of the time, somebody will step up and decide to be the personal representative or the executor. It used to be executor, executrix. And now, to be politically correct, they're taking executrix out, and they're just going to say executor. So anybody can be an executor of a will. But the legal process involving the courts for transfer of assets, including houses, cars, stocks, boats, bonds, transfer comes from the deceased person's name and entire estate so that the assets can be sold or distributed to the heirs. That's the whole point of probate. All right. Without a will, there are steps you have to go through to go through the process. For instance, you have to file in the court to become a personal representative. The court has to approve it, and that's the person that the realtor talks to, because that's the person who has the right to sell. Same thing holds true if they die intestate. If they die intestate, you're still going to go through the process. If somebody doesn't step up and say, "I want to be the executor," then the court will appoint somebody. It's going to cost more money. So the idea is to try to keep the assets as much as you can, so it can be distributed to the heirs. So that's that. To eliminate it, you're going to go through a process because you have a trust. If you have a trust, then you don't have to go through the court system, and that's pretty cool. All right. Does that answer? It's like the easy way it is with the will, the executor is authorized to administer the decedent's estate according to that particular will. If there's no will, it's called administrative proceeding, and a representative is appointed to administer the estate according to intestate statutes in that particular state. And that's why that's where it becomes tricky. So if I say to you on the call, how many people do not have a will? If you don't have a will, get one.
Oh, I have a will, But I had the reason I don't was the assets. We wanted to take some assets out, so we did a transfer on death for
Okay.
the primary property,
What state are you in?
Texas,
Where?
Texas.
Okay, well, see, Texas has some pretty unique laws which help you, like Texas and Florida. Florida has a ladybird law. Texas has something similar. So before you die, you can authorize where stuff goes and it doesn't have to go through the probate process. That's what you're referring to?
Help reduce the cost of the estate.
Pardon me?
But using a transfer on death, does
Right.
that reduce the cost of the estate litigation or probate?
Well, it reduces it to a point, but now you're asking a specific state rule. I can look up Texas and get you the
No, that's
statute.
okay, buddy. I don't want to take anybody's time.
No, I'm saying when you get done, look up Texas probate statutes. Kaboom. Everybody, whatever state you are, it'll print out, you can print out the statutes. Now, it's going to sound like legalese. Some states have something called overbidding. So you have that. You can also look that up in the class. We'll teach you how to get all that information. And what court in Texas handles probate? Do you know? Is it a superior court, probate court, orphans court?
I don't really know.
Okay, look that one up too, because the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you visit the courthouse. All right, that's important as well. So there's lesson one is who's involved in the process. That becomes the executor, the heirs, the court administrator, the lawyer for the court. All those people are involved. The process with or without a will. You learn probate misconceptions. Lesson two is the process in different types. One is 5 ways that property can be sold. There are 5 ways, whether you're death or not. Where to find files, your overall, I can't say it's process as a realtor. You'll learn about conservatorship, living trust, revocable versus irrevocable, and special types of probate. Lesson 3 is how to communicate with the PR, personal representative, meeting them, what you say to them, communicating with the lawyer, getting a vendors list together so you can help them in that way. Because oftentimes the executor lives in Oregon and the property's in Texas. So it's a long distance thing. Lesson 4 is promoting yourself as a specialist, setting goals, getting started, how to put it together. For instance, I have a probate division in my company. And then I have a group of people like carpenter, electrician, plumber, house cleaner. All these people have 30 different people in there that are all licensed and bonded in my probate services division. Now they see a thing that says you don't have to use any of these people. I've acquired them. They've done work for me, and but they'll give you a nice quote, and they won't, they'll tell you what has to be done, simply. And that's so if you're up against another agent that's going for that deal, you have to ask them, do they have a probate services division? We teach you all this. We teach you how to beat out other agents, and there's nothing better in this business than beating out other agents, is there? I mean, I don't want to sound like a selfish guy, but I want every listing. That's the way I feel. And that's if I'm going out and work it, I want to get it. So you'll learn that. Lesson 4 is promoting yourself as a specialist and developing your niche. This is the tough part. It's not just goal setting. It's setting together, how are you going to do this? It's getting started. How do I get started in probate? You don't want probate to just overwhelm you and take away from the other business you're doing. You want to work it in slowly. It takes a long time to get probate, your first probate thing done. And people say, oh my gosh, it just takes forever. It doesn't matter if it takes forever if you have 30 in the system, does it? Because you're just going to crank them out and crank them out and crank them out. And there's nobody else in front of you that's cranking them out. I know somebody that's done 600 of them right now, 600 probates. He's a star power star, and he and I are putting together another program on top of this. And he has it down to a science. He owns New Mexico, and we're having fun with him. You'll learn how to get started. You'll learn responsibilities for follow-up. You'll learn common questions and concerns that families have. You'll learn that I don't know if anybody's ever been on an executor? Anybody been an executor or a personal representative on the
Yes,
call?
I
Did you
have.
hate? Did you
I
hate it?
hated it. Oh, God, yes, I hated it.
I did. I'd rather have a hot stick in the eye. So
Okay.
now, you're going to know. We're going to tell you what's wrong with it. And I always refer to an animal that I created, because animals haven't been created in a while. So it must come from I don't know, a drug flash back in the 60s or something, but it's called a grabosaurus. It's like a dinosaur, but it has another hand coming out of its chest. And what it does is as soon as the parent dies or something and they fly into town, they have that extra hand that goes grabbing for anything they can grab, because that's all they're interested in, not realizing that they're stepping on the back of the executor that's trying to get the job done and not have the time to mourn the death of their own mother or father, because there's too much work to do as a personal representative. Am I clear on that with the gal that said that?
You are absolutely correct. You are right on.
They don't care. So I would say if it happened to me again, I would hire somebody, an ombudsman. I have another attorney do it or something like that. So that way I can jump on a bandwagon and be mad at somebody else.
I made a lot of enemies.
Yeah, you do. And they share the same blood. That's the problem.
Yep, absolutely.
And in the class, we talk about this is what happened to people, and this is how you can correct it in the future, or this is how you can actually help people. We have a system that we've created that works with us being the ombudsman between the executor and the family. And we have a whole system that makes it. So now you have lesson 5, we talk buyer concerns. Really hard to work with a buyer of a probate property unless you tell them step by step throughout the system how it works. This is what can happen, what can't happen. Are you willing to take that time to wait that long to close on a property? Because you don't get to decide, the court does. Are you allowed to wait that long having your money tied up? So we'll go through the whole process. If they are, at least you've covered yourself. We talk about personal property, inspecting it, helping inspect it, inventorying it, buying it, selling it, and going through that. We talk about inheritance funding. It's a subject that you'll hate in the beginning and then you'll love at the end. But it's a horrible thing in the beginning to understand that they're going to charge you 25, 50 cents on the dollar. We're going to talk about issues that arise in buying probate property. And we're going to end up with how to address buyer concerns. And then at the end of the class, we're going to set up, how are you going to do it? How are you going to set up a division? What are you going to do to start? We don't want you to start jumping in it, because you're going to get enough information. It's like drinking water out of a fire hose. And outside of that, you'll figure out, how can I start? Do I want to start? I did a class in Reno, Nevada, and this lovely lady, she was a young gal from Brazil, Sao Paulo. And she, at the end of the class, I usually ask, well, give me one thing that you learned. And she said to me, I learned that I never want to do probate. And I said, that's great, because knowing in the beginning, it's going to help you in the end. So is it lucrative? There's 50 million houses coming up. Are there opportunities for you? There are tons of opportunities for you. And that's the way the probate thing works. Why is it so important that we do probate now instead of like 5 years ago? Nobody was even interested in probate. Anybody have any guesses? Nothing, huh?
Because there's going to be a flood of people coming to not people, I'm sorry, a flood of deaths that will occur, and we'll be prepared for it.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely true. It really jumped on, what was it, about 12 years ago, the foreclosure, the whole foreclosure thing, and CDPE was created, you remember? That had a short sale certification.
Mm-hmm.
The people that took that, the people took that, all of a sudden, we're getting short sale. Now, I didn't like it. I didn't like working them. I'm not really adept at working them. I took the course, and then I hired somebody that handled all the short sale properties for me. I didn't want to do it. So even with this, if you're a certified probate specialist, you're one of a few. There's 1.5 million realtors in the United States right now. and we have like about 3,600 probate specialists. That's a pretty good place to be, isn't it? And if you don't have that time to do it, then you hire somebody to actually work all the stuff for you. I have a work wife and her daughter now, and they'll do the work for me, but they'll figure it out. Then I just have to go out, greet them. I do oftentimes by Zoom, and I just work through that. But you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan and it doesn't, or the plan doesn't fit into your current business, or doing this plan takes away from your current business, it might not be the way to go. But I would say anybody on this call would be doing themselves a favor to learn it just from the beginning so that you can make that determination. There's a lot of success in probate. Here's the other thing. Just like the military, if I helped your mother or your father, no, I'm sorry. If I helped somebody in the military that didn't think they could buy a house or trying to start a family, do you think I would get business from their mother, their father, their sister, their cousin, their neighbor? So the same thing in probate. If you help somebody in probate, they're going to say there's not that many professionals. This is the person. Look how well they helped this person succeed in a very difficult situation. So it's like it's throwing a stone in a lake. When you do it, just keeps on waffling out and waffling out. And the information you get is going to help you go just so much forward. The $1 trillion, when I thought about that, there's going to be 50 million houses. I'm thinking to myself, my God, what are you going to do? You're going to learn about taxes too. That's one of my least favorite things to learn about. But you all know that in probate, if you have money, and if some people in areas that have money, 4% of the first $100,000 worth of value of your estate, that's what you're paying in taxes, 4%. The next 100,000, 3%. The next 800,000, 2%. And the next 8 million is 1%. Now you don't pay any of this until you exceed the exemption, right? You know what the exemption is in 2023? Anybody? Any guesses?
500,000?
Oh, that's a pretty good answer. No.
750.
It's $12,920,000.
Oh my gosh.
So if you have an estate that's worth $12,920,000, then you pay 4% on the first 100,000 over it, 3% of the next 100,000, 2% of the next 800,000, 1% of the next 8 million. Now that sounds great. That's called that's your goods and services tax, tax and GST. That's federal. That's not your state taxes. A lot of states don't have taxes on estates, like Florida. Texas, I don't believe, has them either. So you got that. Now, here's the thing. It's just going to, once you learn those numbers, you're going to feel excited about it until you realize that in 2025, our current administration is dropping that to 6.2 million. So it goes from 12,920,000 to 6.2 million.
Hello.
And somebody go, that's pretty horrible, right?
That's awful. That's absolutely awful.
Well, because you know what? People don't argue about these things. It's like transfer taxes. Transfer taxes, the only people that argue about transfer taxes are those that are involved and happen to pay the transfer tax. In my state, I'm in Delaware, we have the highest transfer tax in the country, 4%. And here's the deal. There's only 3% of the people in the state sell their houses in any given year. So that being the case, they're the only ones that bitch and moan. And then afterwards, when they're stuck in it, we say, where were you when we were trying to get the vote? They weren't around. The same with death taxes. Dead men don't vote. Dead women don't vote either. But they probably try harder. So the point is that with that kind of tax situation, somebody has to get involved and say this, enough is enough. But they just dropped it in half. And there's a lot of people in a lot of states that people have estates that are worth more than $6.2 million. Make sense? So you'll learn all these nuances at the close. You'll learn the steps. There's actually 10 steps in the probate process with a will. There's one more maybe without a will. But pretty much that's all you have to get when it comes to that. But when you're learning the different types of probate, I try to tell people this is it. There are 5 ways properties are sold: private sale, public auction, trust department, and who's coming in last? Real estate agent. And you know why? Because of you. Because you don't tell people how you could save a lot of money. You don't tell people how even at a private auction or a trust department, you can help by saving them thousands of dollars that the trust department is going to charge them. You don't tell them about, you're not going to beat private sale. Private sales, they already knew somebody's going to buy the property. But we give you methods how to get involved with the public auction and private auction so they're not spending all their estate money. All right. We're going to show you where to find probate files. Probate files are public, by the way. It doesn't matter what state you're in, they're public. Here's the problem, not the problem, the challenge. Here's the challenge. Since COVID has occurred, people aren't back at the courthouse yet. So like, for instance, Delaware, I can get probate files because they have to give them to me. And I can get them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I can't go Mondays, Wednesdays, or Fridays. A lot of states are going online and they still have people at the courthouse. We teach you how to get to know the people at the courthouse. So when they know you or they know your name, they start referring people to you. These are the types of things that you need to do. You identify what kind of file you need, the case number. You have to figure out that. And so it's all easy. We tell you where to find case numbers so that you don't go in looking like you don't know what you're doing. Is that a sensible way of starting it? So really the whole process goes right back to those 5 steps. The 5 steps are that I gave you earlier in the call. And it goes back to the course objectives: identifying, navigating, determining, communicating, address objections, effectively promoting yourself, and be in compliance. That's all that probate's about. It's a lot of stuff to learn, right? But there's a lot there to earn. And it's probably going to be the most successful niche in the next 5 or 6 years, without a doubt. You have to determine whether or not you're going to be on the car closest to the engine or closest to the caboose. And closest to the caboose, that's typically in the niches I've done, that's when I move on. Oh, too many people are doing this, let's move on to something else. So how about some comments or questions? We still have about 9 minutes. Give me some.
I got a question or two for you.
All right, go ahead.
All right. With the conflict that I can't even write a paragraph over paragraph on any offer as a realtor, because I'm told I'm not an attorney.
Right.
I could see me talking to people about the executors, executives, and etc. Why isn't that a conflict if it's I don't have a license for it?
You don't need to have a license to tell information. You only have a license to tell advice. Even an attorney. I always tell people in the class, I'm not an attorney. I only play one on television, but when the camera shuts off, I'm not an attorney anymore. The bottom line of this whole thing is that when you took your course on how to become a realtor, a little bit more than 75%, as I taught the pre-licensing course for years, 75% of it was law. And at the end of the course, they told you can't practice law, but they have filler. But they gave you an understanding of this. But you can do this when you do this class like this. I always have an attorney, like I can call him right now, as far as that's concerned. You just have to have the probate statutes. So here are the probate statutes the way they are in your state. You don't have to be a lawyer to show them the statutes. This is the way it's operated here, and I recommend that they all get an attorney.
Okay, and that's good information, and I'm happy you said that because I agree with you.
All right.
Question. Coincidentally, I was checking out another company that does probate.
Right.
And I don't know how I got on your line here, but I'm glad I did. Because what are your feelings about those people that feel that they can sell you the information on probate?
I think all right. Amy, I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, but I've never bought a lead in my entire life. I've never bought anything like that. I'm not paying for services that I should know how to get. I'm not going to pay for probate services. I mean, if you take a class, it's going to be a situation where I don't charge you every month or every year for something. You've learned something and you can take it whatever direction you want. But there's no way you can't get all the information available without having to pay for it. You could probably get all the information I told you about without paying for it. But it's just that I've put it in such a way, and I believe that G and I have put it in such a way that it adheres to our profession. I took the CL, you know what CLEs are? That's what lawyers have to take to keep their license. They're like CE credits, but for lawyers. I took the CLE course that lawyers take to understand probate. It had nothing it was a great course. It taught me more about law, but it had nothing to do with marketing to people, how to get business from people. It had to do with how to follow the statutes in your state. So it's all different. Mine is geared to how do I get a realtor when they leave this class? I want to know how fast they can get involved in a probate transaction and how they did with it. And they send me, I've gotten cards. I just got one today. Thank you very much. This is what happened. This is how I handled it. Thank you. Or is that going to be for everybody? No, because I suck as an instructor. But the point is, once you get the information, you can run with it. Does that help you out?
Awesome job. Thank you.
All right,
Hey, buddy.
Yes, go ahead.
This is Ruben in San Antonio.
Right.
I took this course about 4 years ago.
This course?
It's the CPRES course.
No, it wasn't. I started it last March.
CPRES.
No, this is
It was delivered by a company called MTI.
No, that's a different course. Mine's CPS.
Well, this is CPRES for realtor, I guess. Anyway, shortly thereafter, COVID hit,
Right.
and I couldn't get into the courthouse, so I just kind of hung it up and didn't do anything with it. Now that the courthouse is open again and so on, but during that time, I've had several attorneys get me appointed as a receiver for properties.
Okay.
And that's been very helpful to me. I've been in the real estate business now for 46 years.
Right.
But I'm interested in your course. I don't know what all the difference is. A lot of what you've said is in here as well.
Okay.
But I appreciate you allowing me to be on this call.
Oh, absolutely. I've done, I mean, I gave you a brief overview, but I certainly didn't get into the meat of the course.
Right.
Because the meat of the course is when you get in to the course, you want to learn about what probate is. You want to learn about whether or not you want to be involved in it. As we go through the course, we want to show you how to actually have a division where you can start getting business. You can get it in and then have other people refer it to you. That's the key. Same with the military, same with the SREs. If you can get somebody else to say, that's the guy that you want to use because he's the professional, he's the expert, that's who you want to be. You want to be the credible source in your area.
Hey, buddy, on the promotional materials, do you have things that you can give away that aren't in not illegal, but you know, do you have stuff that can be given away to the public?
Well,
Like a trifold.
Well, I teach you how to do a trifold. It's going to be
okay.
Going to work in your area. When it says give away stuff, everything you see in this course is copyrighted. Everything you're going to see, like the slides and all.
Sure.
I've got registered trademarks throughout it. I'm not going to give you my material, but I'm going to show you how to make material that's almost exactly like I have, but it's also going to be indigenous to your area. You don't need to know how Delaware probate works. You don't need that Maryland or Pennsylvania. You don't need any of that stuff. What you need is how can I capitalize on my market? And I'll show you what to put in the trifolds. By the way, ChatGPT developed all my trifolds thanks to Heidi Joy, another star out of the Florida area. And I said, look, I just bought you dinner. Sit down, show me this. And she showed it to me. Simple as that. You've got people that show you everything. Greg Gorman, he showed me. Anybody that wants to be involved in it, you can go to the people. ChatGPT works it, have somebody put another set of eyes on it. develop it so it becomes you, and you're now the expert in the area. How do you beat that? And it's for like a minimal fee. Oh, anybody, go ahead.
Rose has her hand up.
Let me know.
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. I took your class in April when you taught it with CRS in Wisconsin, and it was a 2-day course, and it was fabulous.
1-day course. It was a 1-day course.
2-day. We did it in 2 days.
You were on the Zoom one.
Yes, it was fabulous.
Okay. I'm thinking,
Yeah,
God,
it was
did I lose
fabulous, and
that?
I'd like to take it over because it's just so much. It was wonderful.
It was like, well, thank you very much, Mom. It was like, but the thing is that I'm very proud to say we're getting a lot of positive response on the course because we listen to what people say and what they need. I don't know if anybody on the call is going to the Starbauer conference, but we're giving $100 off on the course there for the Amy special, we call it. And the thing is that the best part about taking the course right at the conference is that you're going to be sitting with some of the top producers in the country. When you hear a question from them, it's very poignant. It's like, boom, how can you help me? And then 3 or 4 are going to want to drag me out for a cocktail or to pick my brain or something like that. But it's worth going. Everything that happens at that Star Power conference is like ridiculous. You come home and you have a headache because of the stuff you learn. But if you put it into play, you'll earn. And that's my goal. And that's why I've been involved in, I guess, 3 niches with this group. So, hopefully I can get some of you guys on the course. I've got, I can send it to Amy. I've got something like 28 courses lined up now between now and the end of the year. And probably it's going to go to a little bit more, but we'll see. We'll see. But I'm very happy with my association with Star Power and helping them as much as I can. Got a couple more questions? Got a couple more minutes.
Buddy, after you take off the Amy discount, how much more is there still left to pay?
Amy, or I guess Tam, I think you're given how much?
You've got it at $350 and $100 off, so it would be $250 at tagging it on the beginning of the Star Power annual conference in July.
Right.
In Nashville.
And now you want to hear something interesting about it? And this is the second course that I've written. I've written the 3, but the second course I've written. And being a realtor, I sicken people having their hand in my pocket. I guess you all feel the same way about that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want it. So guess what the annual fee is? Go ahead. Any guesses?
0.
0.
We hope.
Because if you get it, you get it. I don't need to take it back from you. Now, guess what else you get on top of that? If you're involved with the Star Power thing, right? And you decide a year later you want to take the course again, it's free. You get to monitor the course one time. Now, sometimes an association or something will charge you lunch, and it might cost you $10, but I haven't had anybody ever charge anybody that was coming in for the second time. That's the way I run. You learn, you earn. I'm happy to took the class. That's the way I feel. Oh, by the way, if you don't think that you learned anything in the class, I pay your tuition. How's that? I can't offer any more than that. I don't know what else to offer. A shoe?
Is there a way to take the course before Star Power?
I'm sure I got
Online?
No. I don't have any online.
I thought the Zoom was recorded. I'm sorry.
I actually I do hybrid classes. If an association wants a hybrid class, I'll throw it because they have their reasons for doing it. But I will tell you, if you're live in a class, you're going to learn 150% of what somebody does when they're sitting in their pajamas. It's because we have you do some exercises. You're going to help.
Yeah, I have medical issues that don't allow me to travel right now.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll come to your house. I'm an accommodator. I have classes. I'm going to Michigan, Pensacola, Orlando. Where are you located?
Montgomery, Texas, 45 miles northwest of Houston.
All right. Well, I'm going to be in Gaylord, Texas, wherever the heck that is.
Where?
Gaylord.
He's gonna be in
Gaylord?
Grapevine
Grapevine,
at the
okay.
Oh,
Gaylord.
Grapevine.
That's drivable.
That's where?
That's drivable. I can drive.
Well, I'm gonna be there.
When?
I'm gonna look it up right now.
July
Yep.
25th. Not that I organized it or anything, buddy.
No,
This is
but-
Kathy Hushmat.
Okay, yeah, but
I'm the one that booked it.
Oh, okay, well, that's good. So you were just listening to see if I was worth going to or coming,
I
right?
was just getting a little brief so I could put some marketing together, sir.
I've got marketing to send to you, and I've got videos to send to you as well.
Wonderful.
All right, so let me see. Grapevine, that's right. That's on 825, and it better not be 120 degrees in there. Everybody, no tornadoes chasing my ass.
Good luck.
Good luck with that one.
I'll be in Buckeye, Arizona. I'm going to be in Bozeman, Montana, Wichita, Iowa City, Naples, Florida. Thank God. Wilmington, North Carolina. So
Buddy,
I'll be-
when are you gonna be in Buckeye?
Buckeye looks like 925.
Hey,
Memphis.
buddy, you just post that or have Tammy post when where you're going to be and so forth?
You'll have to ask Tammy that.
Well, as we would love to have everyone come to Nashville and attend Buddy's class and also attend Star Power, we would really like that, but if you can't make it, we will have Buddy post in the Star Power group on Facebook, the private group, and we'll get his
Yeah.
schedule up there. And then also, Buddy, what is your website? Do you want to give that to everyone? Your schedule's on there?
Oh, yeah.
Certified Probate Specialist.org. Now, if you see, here's what I charge for the course, and obviously there's discounts, $350 for the course. If you see it going less and less or whatever, it's because sponsors picked up the difference.
Ah,
All right. Like, I don't just give it away. That's just not the way it is. I'm helping Star Power and Amy and Tammy, because basically they've helped me over the years. So it's worth your while to get the Star Power. And you know what? Because I'm probably the worst speaker there. Where do you see some of these people? It's just like they'll mesmerize you. You know, I can't wait to see them. It's a shame.
Buddy, is your course only available through Star Power or is it
No.
available outside of Star Power as well?
Well, we were going to talk about that. I can make it available outside of Star Power, however you want to do it. I just wanted to make sure we got them to go to your conference first. You know, it's up to you guys. I mean, it's available. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. I know I got that one coming. And that's in 9/13. I got Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Miami, Orlando, Nashville, Wilmington, North Carolina. So I got a bunch coming. And there's more coming. There's more coming on board.
Buddy has pinballed his way across the United States this year and last year, and he continues to go into the fall. So definitely check out his website with his schedule if you can't make it to Nashville, because I'm sure he's coming to a city near you.
I hope so.
Okay.
Any last comments or anything?
thank you. Incredible.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
Come
thank
see.
you, Buddy.
My pleasure.
Good stuff, buddy. See you in Nashville, man.
See you in Nashville.
I wish I could be there. I would be
Oh.
otherwise.
One
some
day
hot
we'll
chicken.
see you in person, Ron. We can't wait.
Yep, we'll have hot chicken together.
All right, everyone, thank you so much. You've got Buddy's website if you want to check out his site and schedule, and then also starpower.com. You can click on the annual conference if you want to get registered for conference, and then there's also a link there directly to Buddy's discount for signing up for his class prior to.
And also, if you need me, it's buddywest@buddywest.com.
That's a good email.
It's because I'm a dummy when it comes to technology. I had to think of how can I have to not forget it. If I told you my password, you'd laugh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's my luggage. That's my luggage.
That's your lockbox number.
Debit card.
That's right. Enjoy your day, ladies and
All
gentlemen.
right,
Thanks.
everyone. Thank
Bye,
you
everybody.
so
Thank you
much.
for
Hope to
help.
see you in Nashville.